Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Hello everyone and welcome to your English class. In our lesson today, we'll continue with the enrichment classes. Our enrichment today is going to be on Unit 2, which is titled, I Wonder What Happened. All you need for the lesson today is your books on Unit 2, a sheet of paper and a pen to take down your notes. Let's get started with these. In this semester, we have taken so far 4 units. The first one was titled, Complaints. The second one was about, I Wonder What Happened. 3 was about, If It Hadn't Happened. And the last unit was about what they said. Today we will focus on the second unit, Unit 2, I Wonder What Happened. Let's start with the second unit. How are we going to do it? You're going to refer to the objectives, the self-reflection part in your books, page 33 from Unit 2. Okay. At the beginning, we have discussed the idea of speculating about facts and events. What is speculation? It is the idea of guessing, trying to come up with a conclusion. Let's look at the first one in here. What can you see? The fact in here that we're having a man that is followed by a bull. So, what could have happened before the picture was taken? We can say the man could have teased the bull. He could have teased the bull. Maybe not. Maybe he have done nothing. How about this building? Look at it. It is a building. What does it look like? What do you think it is? Let's make speculation. We have no idea. We can say that it can't be a house. For me, it doesn't look at all like a house. It must be an observatory, a place where people will go so they will gaze the moon, the stars, and the sky. How about here? I can see in here a city or a place that we're having all debris, destruction. So, what do you think? What might have happened before the picture was taken? Maybe a tornado might have hit the city. Or it could be an explosion. We are predicting. Here, let's make suppositions, speculations, and draw conclusions about things. Let's use can't, must, may, or might. Let's read the sentence and come up with our speculation or conclusion. Number 1. I saw this blinding flash in the sky. However, but there was no noise. I saw lights, but there was no noise. So it can't be an explosion. I will say it can't have been an explosion. No sound or no noise. It wasn't loud enough. It must have been a car crash. Could be. I could hear people yelling. Or it could be a falling star. Or can't be fireworks. Based on your information and the things that you predict. How about I keep on calling his home number and there is no answer. Keep calling my brother or my father, but he doesn't answer. He doesn't take it. Let's predict what could it happen. We will say he can't be home. He must be out. He could be asleep. My predictions. One more. I saw him driving a very expensive car. It was brand new. I know a friend who's having an old car or he doesn't have a car. However, today I saw him driving a brand new, a new car that is very expensive. It can't be his. We can say it can't be his. It's not his. I don't think that it is his car. It must be his father's. Or he might have rented it. No way that it is his car. He can't afford it. Okay. On page 22, we have talked about events that happened in the past before other events. We have ordered events, past and older and older. Here, what have we said? When I arrived at the airport, I arrived yesterday. Before that, what happened? The plane had taken off. So I arrived at 7. Maybe it had taken off at 5 before I got in there. On a timeline in here, we can say I arrived. Here is today. I arrived, and before that, the plane had taken off. What have we used in here? We have used the past perfect tense. What is the form? We will use any pronoun regardless, he, she, it, they, you, we, or I, followed by had and always had, then followed by the past participle tense of the verb. Taken, broken, or any past participle tense of the verb. Okay, here we said when the parents got home, what happened before they got home? They found out that their little boy had drawn on the wall. He drew, then they got home. He wasn't drawing on the wall. They only saw the drawings or the doodles in there. Okay, let's try to do this exercise. You will decide which action happened first and which one is older. I feel much better after I see the results of my tests. I was worried. I saw them. I feel better. So I will say, I felt better after I had seen. Worried, had seen, then felt better. 2. It had been raining, but by the time we arrived, the rain stopped. Stop, then we arrived. By the time we arrived, the rain had stopped. So it was raining. We got in there. We found nothing, only wet floors. Dinosaurs be extinct for millions of years before the first human appear. Extinction, then appearance. Had been extinct, then the human appeared. So when human appeared, before that millions of years, or let's say in here, yes, millions of years, dinosaur had extinct. So we're having longer time ago. Page 22 as well, the grammar lesson, we have discussed the use of the past perfect in question and short answer. We have known how to form a past perfect tense. Now, how can we use it in a question to form a question? They had painted the wall before I got home. They had painted it. Let's change it into a question. The easy way to form a question, all you need to do is to change the order. We've got the helping verb in here. You will say, had they painted the wall? What do you think? Had they painted the wall? I guess yes. Yes, they had painted the wall. Look at them. The wall is colored. It had been painted. Then, had they repaired the wall? Had they fixed it? No, only painting. So, no, they hadn't painted the wall. They hadn't repaired the wall. They hadn't repaired it. They had painted it. Only painting, no repairing. So they, all you can do is just to change the order as we are having the helping verb or the modal auxiliary, which is had in here. Okay. Then on page 22, the use of can't, could, couldn't, must, may, or might. We're still speaking here about speculation. When do we use each one of them? If you are sure that this thing happened, you know that maybe your father is not in the city. He must be maybe in Jeddah. So I am sure. I will say must. If it is a possibility, not very sure, maybe we can say 50% possible. So we will say may or might. He might be asleep by now. I'm not sure, maybe. You are sure that it is not, so this thing is impossible, so we will say can't or couldn't. My father can't be at home. I called him and he told me that he is in Jeddah. He can't be at home. He couldn't be at home yesterday because I had called him the day before. Okay, let's try to make speculations. We're having here a hidden item in here. We're going to use the first time might be. Looks like something that is round. It might be a ball, or might be or maybe a balloon, something that is round. How about must? Must be, I am sure this is a thing. It must be something round. I can't tell anything about the color, only the shape because it is covered. Must be, it must be a something round. How about can't? Impossible. It can't be a pen. It can't be a car or a bicycle. There is no way that it is a bicycle. How about another one in here? Let's make speculations. Here, it might be a new car. Maybe. You will tell me it's a new car, I will tell you no. Maybe it is an old one. It might be. How about in here, must be? I am sure that it must be a car. Can you think about it to be anything else? It must be a car. And it can't be, it will never be a ball, a balloon, a bicycle. So if I tell you, do you think that it's a balloon or it is a bicycle? You will say, no way. It's impossible that it is a balloon or a bicycle. Okay. Let's try to make speculations about the picture. Here is we're having a man who is getting into a car. Looks like he's worried. He is trying to figure out what is wrong. What is wrong in here? We can say he must have gone buying a car. He is trying to check it out. He must have gone buying a car. He might have received a parking ticket. He's getting into the car and he found a ticket. He might have received a parking ticket. He could have had the car repaired, and he is checking it after being repaired. Could have had the car repaired. How about the second picture? Looks like someone, he is worried, he is not feeling good, and he is using the phone, calling someone. Why? Let's make speculations. He must have called a friend. He must have heard bad news. He might have been late for a meeting. Or we can say he could have forgotten an address. Could have. We are speculating. He must be worried, I will say. Number 3, looks like someone who is maybe nervous, having a headache. He doesn't feel very well. He must have studied too much. Must. I can relate. He must have studied too much. Or he might have been bored. He was bored, so he is nervous. Or he could haven't slept very well last night. He haven't got enough sleep. Look at the picture, and based on your understanding, you can come up with the sentence. Use the modal, could be might, must, can't, followed by have if it is in the past, and the past participle tense of the verb, based on your choice. Next, here, let's try to use these for speculations. You can use can't, could, couldn't, may, must, or might. You haven't eaten all day. You be starving. Someone who haven't eaten all day. Nothing have been eaten. So I will say, you must be starving. You must be starving, feeling hungry. Pat is joking. She be serious. Someone is joking. She can't be serious. It's a joke. She's not serious. Ahmed has been studying all afternoon. He spent all the afternoon, maybe 2 to 3 hours studying. He be tired by now. He must be tired. Someone was studying all afternoon, long hours, must be tired by now. Next, I am not sure of the way there. Let's ask my father. He drive us there. He might. Maybe he would take us to there, or he could tell us how to get there. He might drive us. If your father is always taking you places, you can say must. It depends on your situation. On page 30, we have discussed the idea of independent clauses and the use of and, but, so, or yet. So we're having two clauses that you will connect them using and, but, yet, or, and we're having so, based on the meaning. And don't forget to use the commas. Number 1, I don't like guessing. I will wait until the end. Here we're having one independent clause and another independent clause. Let's join them to form one sentence to make things easier. So I will say, I don't like guessing, so I will wait until the end. Notice that we use before the so and the others, we will use a comma. It means that we're having two independent clauses. Number 2, it might be a weather balloon. It could be a UFO. UFO is a short form for undefined flying object, something that's flying on the air. So, it might be a weather balloon. It could be a UFO. So we can say in here, it might be a weather balloon or could be a UFO. I am predicting maybe this or that. Notice, or before that we will use a comma. Number 3, I wanted to get home quickly. I took a shortcut through the park. Not going around, I will go on a shortcut through the park. Here we will use so. I wanted to get home quickly, so I took a shortcut through the park. Comma, then the suitable coordinating conjunction you will use so. Based on the meaning, you will choose whether yet, but, so, and, or any other one. On page 30 in here, using the past with the dependent time clauses. Let's try to use whether the past or the past perfect. Complete the witness report with the correct form of the verb. While I was walking, here we're having while I was walking, I heard a lot of people shouting. And then I heard a very loud crash. Before I heard the crash, so in here before hearing the crash, this is in the past, before that, I had seen lights above me. So I heard, before that, I saw. So I had seen lights above me. And I hear a lot of humming sound. And I had heard, before that, I had heard a humming sound. When I arrived at the park, a really large crowd gathered around something. I arrived, before that, a huge crowd or a large crowd had gathered around something. This thing had fallen out of the sky. So something had fallen, people had gathered, then I arrived. All of them are in the past. People be quite terrified because they never seen anything like that. People be, it means the is or am in the present, was or were in the past. People were quite terrified because they had never seen anything like that before. So, were terrified, before that, had never seen anything. Always imagine the situation, what is happening, which one happened first and which one happened old and older. Okay, on page 31 we have discussed the use of conditional sentences with present and the future form. Here we're speaking about F. F conditional. Whenever we're having F, it means that we have a main clause. As a result, after the F, we will have a result clause. If you study well, you will pass, you could pass. The clause could be in the present, and we are discussing here the present tense. And the result will be whether in the present, if it is a zero conditional, like if you heat water, it boils. It is always a fact, boiling water, heating water today, yesterday, tomorrow, 100 years ago, 100 years later, the fact, or let's say the result, is never going to change. If you drop something, it falls. If I drop the pen, it falls. Is it going to change between you and me, the result? No, it's always falling. So, we're having the present. If you heat ice, it boils. Boils. Always the same result, no choices in here. How about if the F clause is in the present and the result clause will be well? We will use well in here. If I see a friend, I will say hi. If I see a friend, I will greet them. So it depends between you and me. Different choices. Or we can choose may or might for possibility. If I see a friend, I may shake hands. Possible, may shake hands. So you can choose whether always in the present, sometimes well, other times may or might. It depends on your choice. And here, the conditional sentences using the present and the past or the future form, we will listen to this situation, and based on that, we will come up with the conditions. Read here the facts and the speculations, and let's form our own sentences. Let's listen.
Facts. Have to pay for the upkeep of the sculpture, for example, clean it, repair it, maintain it. Plant trees instead to be greener or environmentally friendly. Take the sculpture away and put a bench for people to sit on. The sculpture is an eyesore. People will only visit the park to look at the sculpture. People will not appreciate the beauty of nature. Possibilities. The park will be greener without the sculpture. More people will visit the park and stay longer. The birds will sit on the sculpture and make a mess.
Okay, so we have heard two facts and possibilities, which are speculations. Let's try to complete it in here. We're having the sculpture is expensive to maintain, to fix. If the city removes the sculpture and puts a bench in the place, what could happen in here? More people might visit the park. Notice that we're having here if the city removes present, then possibility might visit. How about the sculpture is an eyesore? It doesn't look good. It's not something that is beautiful and everyone will enjoy. Eyesore. It looks ugly, bad. If it is replaced with trees, we will take it out and we will put trees instead. What could happen? The city will be greener. People will visit the park and appreciate the beauty of nature. So if it is present, replaced with trees, the result will be greener. Or we can say, if it is replaced with trees, people will visit the park and appreciate the beauty of nature. So we have used present with will. If we leave the sculpture in the park, birds might sit on it. Then what could also happen? And make the place messy. So if we leave present, and here we will say might sit on it, might make the place messy. It will be dirty and we will have to clean it. If this happens, the council will have to clean it all the time. Present. If it happens, the council will have to clean it all the time because of the mess, the bird's mess. Okay. On page 30, we have also discussed expressing enthusiasm with using intensifiers and adjectives. Like when you use absolutely ancient. Less than that, we're having ancient, strong adjective. Less than that, we're having the adjective, which is old. So extremely old, very old, and old. So from the weakest to the strongest, from old to ancient, we're having levels in here. Old, very old, extremely old, ancient, and absolutely ancient. You can use very and extremely with adjectives, with strong adjectives. You can use absolutely. And you were having many adverbs. You can refer to intensifiers. You can refer to them on your books, page 30. Expressing necessity and the lack of necessity, whether this thing is necessary or it is possible. It is not necessary. What should you do if you find a meteorite? It is recommended that you photograph the rock. Take a photo. Describe the exact location where it is. Measure the rock if it is possible, and report the find to the Meteorological Institute, and don't panic. It is common. Change these using if you think that you found a meteorite, expressing necessity, we will say you must photograph it. You have to describe the exact location. You need to measure the rock if it is possible, and you need to report it. What have we used? You can use whether must, have to, need to, and if it is negative, don't need to or needn't to. Don't need to or needn't to. Okay, here using this vocabulary, let's complete the sentences. I had never been to the state of Texas before I went there with my family. We rented a car and drove across the state. We had been in the car for about 30 minutes when we saw a very strange sign. It was yellow and had the image of a black, or having an animal, tornado on it. We later learned that there are a lot of them in Texas. These powerful windstorms, this is actually our keyword for tornadoes, can destroy trees and buildings and leave a lot of, afterward, destruction, debris to clean up. We stayed near an awesome lake on our vacation. A meteorite had made a hole, a crater. Thousands of years ago, then a huge hole was filled with water and made the lake. Mountain St. Helens looks like half of a mountain. Actually, it is if it is half a mountain, a volcano. When it erupted, it exploded in 1980. It destroyed the trees that had grown around it for hundreds of years. Okay, I guess that is it for the lesson today, and thank you so much for your time.